We are now live. Hey players, welcome to another live stream here on my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh. Every single week I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. So if you want to learn and grow, hit the subscribe button and make sure to click on the notification bell. But if you're here for this live stream, you're here to learn easy ways to stop being shy around your crush. This is something that a lot of you guys came back with feedback on the video I put out last Tuesday, which was all about how to ask your crush out in 2020. A lot of you guys left comments saying, I'm awkward, I'm shy, I'm nervous around my crush, I don't know how to interact with them, I don't know what to say. This live stream, hopefully I'm going to share 4 things that you can start doing that's going to get you into the confident mindset that you want to be in. But if you're here in the live stream, I do want to give shout outs to everyone in here, anyone that's watching, anyone that's in the chat right now. If you're here, leave a comment in the chat. Let me know that you guys are here so that I can shout you guys out. I can give you guys due props. So let's give shout outs to everyone here in the chat right now. If you look at the top of the chat, I pinned one of my t-shirts there. That's one of my Josh Speaks t-shirts, but I'm going to unpin it now just for the sake of unpinning it. Okay, let's give shout outs to everyone in here. If you're in the chat, say hi. Let's jump in. Ravage for Savage is in here. Ravage, good to see you, man. Dono the Gamer. Dono, always a pleasure to have you in my stream, man. Jack Jessup, Grayson the Goosebump Kid, True Cactus, Yancey Corbin, Ricky Stratton, Hunter Hansen, DTK Harry Root, Andrea Juretic, Jerry Thilwards, Giselle Vega, OG Pressure, No Name is in here. Jumping Dark Tar, Yelsha, Nigel Williams, Rick Stratton. It's Xennis, maybe I'm saying that wrong. Liam Knapp. Who did I get here? Caden Yates, Deidre Peterson, which is Emma. Emma, good to see you in here. Cheesy Boy, Plasmex Beast, Brandon Rojas, the Dragon of Chaos. Good to see all of you guys in this live stream. So I want to jump in here and I want to start talking about these different points here. If you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button. Oh, the stream isn't appearing exactly how I wanted it to. I got to fix that. But pretty much the stream is going to be there. I got to get that fixed. Anyway, thank you guys for being a part of this live stream. I want to walk you through these 4 points because I think these are crucial things to do. Especially when it comes to overcoming that level of shyness. This is something that took me years to figure out, years to fully understand about myself, to find my own way forward, to kind of get over that hump, get over that nervousness, get over that shy point in my life. And I want to teach you what those points are. So without further ado, I want to jump into the very first point in here. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up on this video, let's get into that very first point, guys. The first thing you're going to want to know here is you should prepare what you want to say ahead of time. Now, the reason why I stress this point, the reason why I bring it up is mainly because a lot of times when people prepare themselves to go into a conversation with their crush and they're thinking about talking to them, they want to interact with them, they don't really know what to say, and they kind of just go in with a blank stare, a blank face. And I think the reason why most people do that is because they're not spending time truly thinking about what it is they want to talk about, how they want to approach that conversation, how they want the situation to work out. A lot of times you might think in your head, I just want things to be smooth and fine, but that's sort of looking at it as if you're looking at it after the whole conversation. You're saying, oh yeah, everything went well. You have to think about what is it in the grind, in that process of actually talking to them. So how do you prepare what you want to say? How do you kind of get into that mindset? Here's what I would recommend. So what I would recommend is this. When it comes to preparing what you want to say, ask yourself, you know what? What's something I want to learn about this person? What's something I want to share with this person? A lot of times if you come in with that initial question of what's something I want to learn, you might come back to yourself and say, well, you know what? I want to know what's their favorite TV show on Netflix. I want to know what their favorite class is in school. I want to know what their dream career is. Like, what do they want to do when they get older and they can work and they find their path and purpose in life? I want to know that about this person. I want to know what type of music they listen to. I want to know what their favorite hobby is. Maybe they love playing video games. Maybe they love making TikTok videos. Maybe they love doing a million things. Come in with that initial question. You're preparing yourself. What is it I want to learn about this person? If you go into a conversation with that mindset, especially just even asking that question for that person, you already are going to have a head start because you're not going in cold. You're not going in nervous. You're not drawing a blank. You have something prepared to talk about. Now, the flip side of asking a question is what's something I want to share with this person? Let's say you just had a fun experience with one of your friends. let's say you had a funny story from the weekend, or your friend said something silly, or something crazy happened. You just want to talk to someone about it. You might just tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to bring it up to my crush and see what their reaction is. I want to see what they have to say. I want to see what their opinion is on this thing. Having something prepared ahead of time, I think, is a good way to kind of help you get over that shyness. Now, why would people maybe think having something prepared is bad? Because this is something I've heard too. The response is basically, oh, if you prepare what you want to talk about, then it's not authentic. It's not genuine. It's kind of fake. You're having a fake conversation with them because, it's not just flowing smoothly. Well, look, here's the reality, guys. Most of us feel awkward and shy around someone, right? Whether it's a crush, whether it's a friend, whether it's someone older than us, whether it's someone with a more status or more power, or someone that's more popular. We all feel nervous around somebody. And the key is that if you ever really want to kind of get over that nervousness, you need to know what you're bringing to the table. And by preparing what you're talking about, you're allowing yourself to kind of feel more secure with what you're bringing to the table. You'll stop questioning your own self. You'll stop thinking that you're not good enough, or you're not worth talking to, or you're not someone that they would even care about, So having that preparation beforehand is going to be key. Now, I've mentioned in the past, and I'll pull it up here just so you guys can see, because I really do think it's going to be super helpful for you guys. But I've put together a guide. This is a free guide, my 20 icebreaker conversation starters. And in this free guide, pretty much what I do is I break down different conversation topics for you to talk about. If you look at the screen right there, it says hypothetical situations. So in that section, it's hypothetical situation type of questions you may want to ask them. I can't read it, it's too small, but a hypothetical situation might be something like, if you were trapped on a desert island, what's one food that you'd want to be able to eat forever? Or like, what's one item you would bring? Let's say the item thing is better. You ask them, what's one item you would want to bring if you were trapped on a desert island? Now, that's a fun, engaging question. It's something you could say, like, me and my friend were having a conversation. We were asking ourselves, like, if we were trapped on a desert island, what item would we bring? What about you? What would you bring? And that's going to help you get over the shyness because you've prepared, you have a conversation topic to talk about, you have something of substance, and you're going into it ready and willing. People look at people who have training wheels on bikes and they think, oh, well, like if you're an expert rider, you don't need training wheels. But most people start with training wheels. Most people need some kind of training before they jump into something. And if talking to your crush is not something that you feel like you have it all figured out, then having some type of training and preparation is going to make you feel at ease. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. So the icebreaker guide, I think is going to be something that I would love for you guys to check out. I think it'll be super helpful for you if you just need things to talk about, because that's a main gripe. I think a lot of people don't know what to talk about. So having some kind of preparation is going to help. I want to jump into the chat here and see what some of you guys are saying. And if you're in a situation where you don't know what to talk about, you don't have anything prepared, you feel like you freeze up, you feel like you get nervous, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Jump into the chat here and share your experiences here. You know what? We're going to turn this into a chat poll. I want to ask you guys, we'll do a yes or no type of chat poll right here. Do you ever freeze up whenever you try to talk to your crush, or whenever you want to talk to your crush? Do you ever just kind of hesitate and get nervous and freeze up and don't know what to say? Have you ever been in that situation? Let's do a quick chat poll here. I want to see what you guys have to say. Yes, you do freeze up. No, you've never frozen up before. For me, I'd be writing yes in the chat right now, because there have been so many times where I wanted to talk to my crush and I just got so nervous and I distracted myself. I grabbed my phone, or I just kind of looked around, didn't make eye contact because I was too scared. So if I would have had something to talk to them about, I feel like I would have been less scared and less shy. And that's what I want to help you guys kind of recognize now. Prepare something. Think about a question you want to ask them. Think about a story you want to share with them, or come in with prepared questions that you can just start the conversation with. I want to see what some of you guys are saying here. Grayson asked a good question. Josh, would asking a friend to tell your crush you like them help with being shy? So Grayson, I think that in the short term, if you have your friend tell your crush that you like them, yeah, there's a chance your crush might like you back, but I think you're actually hurting yourself in the long term, because you have to kind of put yourself in those situations that maybe are a little bit uncomfortable, so you can learn from them and you can figure out how to deal with them. Because if you're not facing challenging situations, well, then you're just going to assume that, that life is easy breezy and you can always find a way around without having to deal with that discomfort. Dealing with that discomfort in approaching them and talking to them is what's going to help you grow. because you're going to figure out a solution for yourself as you get through it. So Grayson, I wouldn't recommend taking that route. I think if you like that person, try to get to know them. That's really going to be the best way forward. So I asked you guys here, have you ever felt like you've frozen up around your crush? Here's what you guys had to say. Yancey says yes sometimes. Jalen says, I'm hyped that they about to face LSU. She's talking about a totally different thing. Rick says no. Discord's best says not really. Cactus says yes. Lil Pepe says no. Christians, Miskovics says yes with an exclamation point. Yes. It jumped. Let's see. Dono says no. DTK says yes. 10K subs without video says yes. Brian says yes. Koopa Trooper says, I'll just say yes. It's accent says, Corey, you should have asked her if she's has the same feeling. So I missed the first part of the conversation. Nigel says no. Jesus says, no, not really. I've never really suffered from nervousness. Let's see. Gabriel says, not really. I say yes. I know it would happen. Corey says, yeah, no. No, yes, yep, yes, no, yep, yes, from FaZe. So a lot of back and forth, different types of answers. Some of you guys have been nervous. Some of you haven't. So I'm going to turn off the chat poll sign here. But for those of you guys that haven't felt nervous before, what's one piece of advice you'd want to give for the people that have felt nervous? What do you feel has helped you feel calm and collected when it comes to starting a conversation with that person? What's your kind of secret trick? What's your secret formula for just getting over it? Is it just you just don't feel nervous? You're totally fine with it. Or do you have some kind of preparation method for yourself? For me, I would say having something to talk about is a great way forward. I want to see what some of you guys are saying. I'll answer a few questions in the chat here. Christian says, Josh, is it normal that I have the same crush for 5 whole years and talk to her only one time? So I hear where you're coming from on that. If you like the same person for 5 years, but you've only talked to them once, the real question is that okay? The question has to be, why have you only talked to them once? What do you feel is really holding you back from interacting with them? Is it a matter of not really seeing them that often? Is it a matter of you're just too nervous or scared? Do you feel like there's something holding you back from getting closer to them? I'm curious to know what you guys have to say, what you think about that. One thing I do want to say here is that I'm probably going to miss a few of your questions. I don't think I'm going to be able to answer all of them because I'm sharing advice and then jumping in the chat here. But if you have a burning question, something that you desperately want to ask me and you want to get my opinion on it right here, right now, while you have me live, you can always use the super chat function. That's the little dollar sign down below as you're chatting. If you click that, you could donate $1, $2, $5, whatever it is. It'll put your question front and center in front of me. I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll answer your question right here, right now. So that's always an option for you guys if I don't get to answer your question. I know a lot of people say, hey, Josh, you haven't responded to my DM yet, or you didn't respond to my comment. And a big part of that is because there's just a lot of people asking questions. So while I'm here in the live stream, Super Chat is the best way to kind of grab my attention and get your question answered. So let's answer some more questions in here. Yancey says, hey, Josh, if there was a homecoming in my school, how do I ask my crush to go to homecoming with me if I'm nervous, shy, and embarrassed? That's a good question, Yancey. So I've done a video all about how to ask your crush to homecoming. And my one major piece of advice whenever it comes to school dances or anything like that is this. Most people wait till right before the school dance, maybe a few days before, maybe the week before. They wait because they're afraid to ask, they don't know what to do. But I think that if you want to guarantee, or not even guarantee, because nothing is guaranteed, if you want to increase the chances of you actually, going to homecoming with your crush and having everything work out, you need to start putting that work in earlier. I'd say about a month before the dance, if you have a month, because the dance might be right around the corner. But if you have some time, try to ask them to hang out now. Try to spend time talking to them now, because the longer you wait and the closer it gets to that date, the harder it's going to be for them to commit to something, because they're going to feel the pressure of having to say yes or no, and they won't have a lot of time to think about it. Plus, if you spend time hanging out with them before, way before the dance, then they'll already know what it's like to spend time with you alone. One of the main reasons why people get turned down for school dances, homecoming, prom, and things like that is because they're nervous about the idea of spending one-on-one time with this person, because no one really knows what to expect at a dance. Are you going to spend the whole night with them? Are you allowed to go dance with your friends? Like, what's the protocol? What's the way to handle it? No one really has a full lock on that. So you asking them, they may get nervous and not know what to do or how to handle it. So, you take a little bit of that stress off by spending one-on-one time with them, casually hanging out. Maybe you guys go get something to eat. Maybe you just go for a walk. Doing that's going to help alleviate some of that uncertainty when the time comes to ask them to the dance. All right, I'm going to jump in and answer one more question here. I'm going to get into the second point here. Let's do, Corey Morgan says, what I think about with confidence is, with the worst that can happen, you can only live once, so don't live it in regret. Corey, that's great advice. You're here only once. You only have one life to live. So if you make a mistake, it's not going to be the end of the world. You can learn from that mistake. You can grow from that mistake. And that's an important thing to always remember. Let's jump in and answer one more question, because I thought that was, I see that you guys are sharing advice, and that's awesome. Like I said, if I'm talking about a point here and you have personal experience with it, share it in the chat. You guys won't believe how often people make friends through this community. People learn from each other through this through this community. I'm not the only person in the world that can give advice. You can give advice too. You have a story to share just like I do. And I think it's important for you to let your voice be heard. And this is the perfect place to do that. All right, so I want to jump into the second point here before I answer any more questions, guys. The second easy way to stop being shy around your crush, and this is important, I want you guys to know this, is to aim for short and simple conversations. The reason why I bring that point up is this. When you're thinking about talking to your crush, part of that shyness might come down to, how long are we going to talk for? What are we going to talk about? Am I really going to be able to have a full in-depth conversation with them? Are their friends going to interrupt? There's a lot of moving parts, especially if you're someone that's in school trying to talk to your crush. There are a lot of moving parts. And I think that one way to kind of manage that is to pull away from the idea of thinking that every conversation you're going to have with your crush is going to be this magical, long, whimsical conversation where the two of you, totally just fall in love with each other. That's not going to be the case. Realistically, this is how conversations are going to work. The two of you are going to see each other in the hallway. You're going to see each other after class. You're going to see each other at lunch. You're going to see each other after school. And you're going to casually have a small conversation. Maybe you guys will share one or two lines with each other. Maybe you'll talk for a few minutes. There's a lot of different ways to kind of approach that conversation point with your crush. And most of them end up being small time frames. So if you want to get over your shyness, start thinking in smaller bits. Stop thinking in longer bits. Let me take a water break here. So, a shorter bit might be something like this. Like we said before, prepare what you're going to talk about, but tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to ask him one or two questions, and then I'm going to tell him I have to head out. Once you kind of create a time frame for yourself, you may not even have to say like, hey, let's talk for a minute, but you create the time frame for yourself. You say, you know what? I'm going to give myself only a minute to talk to them. I'm not going to put any pressure to have a long conversation. You now have a sense of ease to leave when you feel like you've given it all you can. So the beauty of that really comes down to this, that you're not pressuring yourself to stay longer than you have to, right? Think about when you're going to a party. Imagine if you're going to a party and you're kind of nervous about it. You don't know what to expect. You don't know who's going to be there. And you don't know how long you're going to want to stay there, right? Let's say you're going with friends and they may want to stay all night. They may want to hang out till the morning, whatever it may be. But imagine if you told yourself, you know what? I'm going to this party. I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable or not, but at 10 o'clock, that's when everyone's going to head home. Now you set an end cap for yourself, and it's easier for you to kind of manage the time between now and your end cap because you're only concerning yourself with that smaller window of time. Let's say 10 o'clock rolls around and you're having a good time and you want to stay. Well, then extend your end cap. And it's the same thing with the conversation. If you tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to go in, I'm going to learn something new about my crush. I'm going to have a small conversation with them, and I'm going to say, hey, it was nice talking to you. I got to head out, and then head out. Set that end cap for yourself. And then if the two of you start talking and engaging, just move your end cap. Say, you know what? I'm going to keep talking to them. But by allowing yourself the chance to kind of leave when you feel you need to, that's going to help alleviate that shyness. A big part of the shyness comes down to not knowing what to expect and feeling the pressure of having to make a conversation more than it is. So on that point, I want to jump in and I want to get your guys' take on this. I'm going to do another chat poll here. I want to jump in and answer some more of you guys' questions. I see there's a lot of good questions in the chat. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. Like I said, the super chat is a great way to kind of put a question front and center, but let's do a chat poll here. I want to ask you guys this question. When we talk about kind of setting an end cap for yourself or giving yourself a time frame to work with when it comes to talking to your crush, I want to know how do you guys feel about this? Do you ever feel pressured to always have an interesting conversation with your crush? Do you ever feel that pressure? It might be internalized. It might not be something anyone else is putting on you, but in your own mind, you're putting a pressure on yourself that you always have to have a good conversation with your crush. Every conversation has to be awesome. Yes or no, guys? Do you ever feel that way? I'm curious to know where you guys stand. My answer would be yes. When I think back to when I was in high school and college, whenever I had the chance to talk to my crush or somehow worked up the courage, I always felt like, oh man, like this has to be an awesome conversation. And when it wasn't, when I would talk to them and it would kind of be awkward or it'd fall dry or we'd run out of things to say, I'd beat myself up. I'd be so hard on myself and just be like, oh, I ruined it. I messed things up. I could have done it better. So I know I beat myself up a lot over that. And I want to know where you guys stand. I'm seeing a lot of answers rolling. Let's see what you guys are saying. Have you ever kind of put that pressure on yourself to always have to have an amazing conversation with your crush? Dejana's Wifty says, my B, maybe. DJ says a little. Rahul says yes. DJ says yes. Christian says no. Optimus Observer says no. Yancey says yes. Jalen says nah. Gavin says yes. Plasmex says no. True Cactus says yes. Grungy says yes. Rahul says yes. Josh. Hi, Josh. Josh. Nice to meet you, Josh. Thanos is in here. Uh-oh. Thanos is in here, guys. Thanos is in here. Thanos says, yes, definitely I've been insecure for a long time. Yelsha says, yeah. Rahul says, yeah. So I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Dano says yes. Dark Tara, another yes. Liam says yes, sometimes I do. Cheesy Boy says, I like to just talk to them, but I don't have a lot of pressure. I'm lucky they don't feel it really. Yeah, I hear you on that. Cheesy. Looking through, I don't have a crush. I see yes. Yeah, so she can talk to you. Caden says, hey Josh, how do I ask out a Spanish girl, but I don't know Spanish? And yes. Good point. Thanos is here, Dono. So Dono is sharing some of the custom emojis here. I'll share with you guys here what that's all about. So the custom emojis are pretty much these here. By becoming a patron or a YouTube channel member specifically, you'll get access to use these custom emojis. If you look, Dono has a little icon next to his name, so you'll have an icon as well if you become a channel member. If you're interested in learning more about that, hit the little join button down below. It should be right next to the subscribe button there, and you can learn more about what the perks are of becoming a channel member. So yeah, guys, it's something real here. Like, beating yourself up because you didn't do as well as you should have, right? Like, what is this idea of like, oh, you should have done better, you should have said the right thing? It's like, we're always in a state of learning and growing. We're always trying to figure things out as we get older, as we encounter new experiences. And like, we put so much pressure on ourselves to always get it right. And I think we need to get out of that mindset, because in life you either win or you will learn. Right? You do something and it works out, or it doesn't, and you learn from that experience. You learn for next time. And I think when it comes to talking to your crush and approaching your crush, that's the whole game. That's what it all comes down to. I want to jump in and see some more of the things you guys are talking about here. If you have questions, pop them in the chat right now and see what you guys are saying. Dono says, that's funny. Thanos needing dating advice when it comes to Lady Death. Yeah, maybe Lady Death is not knocking on his door today. But Thanos said, you get the snap. Hey, Thanos, please Thanos is going to cut out half the chat. I'll disappear too. You'll just see me turn into dust. Okay. Kristen says, Josh, how to talk to a girl who's totally out of your league when you have a big fear of talking to the girl. Christians, that's a really good question. That's actually going to be one of the points I'm going to share here. When it comes to being shy, I'm going to talk about popularity, feeling insecure compared to the person that you like and things like that. I'm going to cover that in just a little bit. 10K sub says, can you please help me? Can you help me with my problem? My crush and I were best friends, but now we're not. I like her so much, but she has a boyfriend for a few days. Please, can someone help me? So 10K subs, I'm going to be real with you here. You and your crush were friends. You guys probably talked a lot. You interacted. I don't know if your crush knows that you like them or not. Sometimes, your crush finds out. Sometimes you tell your crush. Sometimes things change, right? And it seems like her getting a boyfriend is the thing that changed. Now, here's the truth. The fact that she has a boyfriend, if she knows that you like her, that's going to change the dynamic of how the two of you interact, right? Her attention is now going to shift to this other guy because the other guy is someone she wants to date. And I think because you like her, but because you are her friend, and those two things end up causing kind of a confusing message. To her, it may feel like, hey, like this is a guy I can talk to, but I now have a boyfriend, so maybe I don't need to interact with him as much. Or she might tell herself, hey, I have a boyfriend, I know this guy likes me, and now it would just be weird to talk to him. It'd be weird to be around him because I know he likes me. So I think that ultimately, just because someone gets a boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't mean you have to lose them as a friend. I think what it really comes down to is you have to be honest with yourself. Are you okay with just being casual friends with this girl? Are you okay with her having a boyfriend and you just being the friend on the side? If you are, then I think it's important to let her know that, hey, listen, I like you, but I only want to have a friendship with you. If you're not okay with it, then maybe the best thing is to kind of just let her go, let her be in a relationship, and you spend more time focusing on your own growth. Talk to different people, interact with other people, ask out other girls. Kind of expand yourself beyond just your crush on that one person, because if she does break up with her boyfriend, in the future, you can always come back and try again. All right, let's answer some more questions before we get into the third point here. By the way, like I said, if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up on this video. We're at 34 likes. Let's see if we can get this to 50 likes by the end of the live stream, guys. All right, Optimus Observer says, my crush always keeps talking to this guy, but I know for a fact that they're not dating. But the guy is having better luck than me with talking to her. Should I still shoot my shot? That's a good question, Optimus. This is a question I've done a video on in the past. You and someone else are competing, in a sense, for your crush's attention or time, and you feel like that person's winning. Your crush is getting along better with them, they're talking more, they're flirting, and you feel like, okay, like things aren't working out for me. Should I keep trying? Here's my approach. I think that ultimately, if your crush is not dating that person, then you should continue to talk to them, you should up your game, and you should try even more to flirt with them, to ask them to hang out. You should put yourself out there more, because here's the reality of it. Just because things are going better with them and they're talking more and interacting, if your crush hasn't committed to being in any kind of relationship with them, then they may still be open to the idea of getting to know you better and flirting with you and maybe even dating you, right? A lot of times people will lock down and be in a relationship because they only want to be with one person, right? They found a person that they want to pursue something with. If she hasn't done that yet, then that means that she's still single and she's still free and open to interacting with more people. Now, it's also possible that she may not want to be in a relationship, but only want to talk to one person. That may be the case, but don't count yourself out simply because you feel like the other person is performing better than you in whatever sense. The real competition is with yourself. You're psyching yourself out. You're feeling like you're not bringing enough to the table, that you're not good enough. And I think what it really comes down to is you need to just up your game. Flirt more with your crush. Invite them to hang out. Talk to them more. You need to kind of put more of that work in to see, because your crush may say, wow, you know what, yeah, this guy is fun, the one she's already close with, but this other guy really is a lot more fun, and he's showing me a new side of himself that I've never seen before. Let's see, OG Pressure says, what if your crush watches your story and likes your photos? That's a good question, OG OG Pressure. What did I get Prush from? Oh, he said crush. Okay. Or she said crush. I don't know. So OG pressure. If your crush is watching your stories and liking your photos and interacting with your content, then chances are they're paying attention to you. They're looking at something that you're doing. They're interested in you in some kind of way. So that interest may be a super romantic way, or it might just be in a very casual way, right? Like I watch a lot of people's stories and like their pictures, and I just kind of casually do it. So your crush may be doing that, or they may be trying to get your attention. What it really comes down to is what you feel comfortable doing next. If you see that as a sign, as like, hey, they're interested in me, they want to learn a little bit more about me, let me use that as my reason to talk to them more, to ask them out, to spend more time with them. Let that be the kickstart you need to kind of go for it. Yes, Thanos is British. Thanos is British. I'm trying to think of Thanos in the Avengers with a British accent. Drink that water, man. Got to drink the water. Okay, I'm going to do one more question. I'm going to go into the third point here. Okay, DJ Does Challenges Game says, please help. I'm a short, chubby 6th grader, and my crush is a funny, tall, skinny, and I think out of my league. Please help. All right, that's a good question. I'm going to get to that point here in my third point. So let's move on to the next one here. The third point, the third easy way for you to get over your shyness around your crush is to get to know your crush's friends first. So this is something I want to emphasize a little bit here too. When I say get to know your crushes, don't you dare do a British accent. I know, I just suck at it. I really do suck at it. I'm not good at, oh no, I'm on the snap list. All right, guys, it was nice knowing you. Thanos has put me on the snap list. I think we're done there. Anyway, getting to know your crush's friends first. What I mean by that is this. One of the main reasons why people are kind of scared to get closer to their crush or to talk to them is they're intimidated by their friends. They're intimidated by the circle that your crush is always around. And the way to get past that simply comes down to, okay, well, instead of trying to pull your crush out of that circle, right, you just get to know the whole circle. The more time you interact with your crush's friends, the more times you start conversations with them, the friendlier you get with them, the easier it's going to be for your crush to get on board with talking to you too. Now, I know that shyness really is rooted in, like acceptance and feeling like they're not going to accept you for who you are. But here's the thing, guys. Like, let's say your crush is hanging out with all of their friends and you pick a friend, say, all right, that person, that friend, I'm just going to get to know them better. I'm going to talk to them and I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to see what we have in common. All the things we've talked about earlier. Do that with a friend. And guess what's going to happen? The friend is going to say, oh, you know what? You're a cool person. You're a really cool person to talk to. Now guess what's going to happen when you go to talk to your crush and you start flirting with them and they turn to their friend and say, hey, this guy's flirting with me. What do you think of him? That friend is only going to have good things to say about you. They're going to say, oh, they're pretty cool. I got to know them. They're a really cool person. You should talk to them. So people see the friends of your crush as an obstacle, when in reality, they can be your biggest ally in this. They could be the ones that are going to talk you up. And the reason why they'll talk you up is because you confidently made the attempt to talk to them, right? And like I've shared this in a story before where I talked about how I approached my very first girlfriend in high school, that she was sitting there with her friends. And I told myself, you know what? If I just walk up to her and only talk to her, well then, yeah, it's going to be weird. And they're going to look at me and they're going to be like, who's this awkward guy approaching us? But if I walk into the group and I talk to all of them and I start a group conversation, well, then it's going to be easier for them to be comfortable around me. They're going to get to know me better. And that's exactly what I did. And once I started talking to everyone, and then eventually I just focused on talking to my crush, they were like, okay, he's a normal guy. And they kind of just went on their own conversations. So that's going to be the real key here. If you want to stop being shy around your crush, instead of trying to pull your crush out of that mix, talk to everyone that's there. And use the techniques that I said before. So I see a few people mentioning the Discord, and I'll take this as an opportunity here too, guys. If you feel like you're struggling with things in your life and you want people to talk to, right? You want people that you can share things with. Maybe you want to vent. Maybe you want advice. Maybe you want to just be kind and help someone else. Our Discord, our community is the best place to do that. And I really, really do mean that when I say that. We have some amazing people in there. Dono the Gamer's in there. A bunch of you guys are in there. And they really kind of make this community what it is. I think that What I love about our Discord is that we have a lot of different boards on there. So if you don't have the Discord app, download it, join our Discord server, and just share a piece of yourself. Share your art, share your music, share your situations in life. Talk about what's going on with your crush. It's a great place to do that, to really make friends, to kind of just expand your network beyond where it already is. And plus, it's just a cool place to be. Like it's just a fun place where you could really make friends. I've seen real friendships like develop from there, which is awesome to see. It's so cool seeing you guys really get along and kind of connect. So join the Discord community. It's a great place to really just work towards being your best self. So I want to share that in there, guys. I want to jump in. I pressed it again. I want to jump in and ask you guys, we're going to set up another chat poll here. When I talk about getting to know your crush's friends, let's do a chat poll. Yes or no? Are you friends with any of your crush's friends? Are you in a class with them? Do you hang out with them? Do you talk to them? Are you connected in any way with your crush's world of friends? I really want to know where you guys stand on that. Some of you might say, yeah, I'm friends with one of her friends. Or, yeah, I've gotten to know his friend because we're in the same class together. I want to know where you guys stand. I remember for myself that I was friends with a lot of my crush's friends in high school and college. Not so much in college, but more in high school. I was friends with a lot of my crush's friends. Oh, awesome. Thanos is on the Discord. Thanos, thank you for joining the Discord. Hope to chat with you there too. Please don't snap me out of existence. All right. So are you guys friends with any of your crush's friends? Let's see what you guys had to say. Chris says no. Tamarcus Baker says yes. Koopa Trooper says no. Koopa Troopa Poopa. That's one name. Thanos says thanks for the Discord. Cool. Glad to have you on. Sorry. Corey says yes. Chris says her sister. Nigel says no. Jalen says yes. DJ says no. Pineapple Power. I'm surprised I can read that. Pineapple Power says yeah. Kanini says, I don't know him to talk to my crush, even though I have known him for 5 years because I'm in school. Okay. H Gangster says yes, sorta. Liam says no, I usually. Atlanta Boy says I have to do it later, Jalen. All right, Ricky says yes. Corbin says, Yancey Kobian says, yes, I'm friends with my crush's friend Roxy. Kanini says sort of. Okay, so we got a mix. How do I join the Discord? Like I said, just go to the joshspeaks.com/Discord. Hopefully someone can share it in the chat here and you can just check it out from there. But so it seems, once again, mixed response here. Some people are friends with their crush's friends, some people are not. And that's okay. There's no right or wrong answer here. But I think that you can work towards becoming friends with your crush's friends, and that's going to help you alleviate some of that shyness. Remember, I said that really loudly. Remember, the whole point here is to kind of figure out how to get over your shyness. And these are small, easy steps that you can start to take to help you kind of get into a better frame where you're comfortable being around your crush, where you're comfortable talking to them, where it's easier for you to do. So I'm going to move on to the next point here, but I want to answer a few more questions here. If you have a question, drop it in the chat here, guys, and I'll jump in and answer it. But what I do want to say is this. After this live stream, what I do is I go live on Instagram immediately after. So the Instagram after party is what I call it, because the live streams are kind of the main show. After party happens over on Instagram. What's cool about the Instagram after party is that I invite you guys onto video chat with me. So all the cool kids are there. It's a really fun place to be. Follow me over on Instagram. And then immediately after this live stream, when I go live, just join my live stream, hit the request to join button, and I might bring you on to chat. It's a really cool place. I love talking to you guys there as well. It's really cool after party. It's a really cool follow-up to these live streams. I'm all tongue-tied today. I don't know why. So join the Instagram after party, guys. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay, I want to answer a few more questions, then move on to the fourth point here. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Hey, we hit 50 likes here. We're at 50. Let's see if we can get it to 60. By the top of the hour, by 6 o'clock here, which is in about 20 minutes. Let's see if we can get it to 60 likes. If you haven't already hit the like button, hit the like button, guys. Okay, let's see. Jalen says, I don't like my crush's boyfriend. Yeah, look, sometimes you're not going to get along with your crush's boyfriend. Sometimes you're not going to like the fact that they have a boyfriend. But if your crush has decided to go out with them, then you have to kind of respect their decision. They've chosen to date them, and that's their choice. Optimist Observer says, wait, how do you start flirting? I have a problem with this. Sometimes I talk to a girl, my friends are watching, and then after the conversation, my friends will be like, ooh, you're flirting. Then when it comes to my crush, I feel all self-conscious and I forget what to do, or what I have done with other people and I don't use it on her. What do you recommend? So that's a good question. So it's possible that for you, flirting is not something that you're consciously doing. You're not walking to a situation saying, you know what, I'm going to say this and try to flirt with them. You just maybe kind of joke around with them. You talk to them. Flirting is different for everyone. But I'd say the core of flirting is that you're teasing the person in a kind of way. You're making light of something, right? Like you might want to say something to them like, oh, you're not as cool as me. One day maybe you'll be as cool as me, but right now you're not as cool as me. Like something silly like that you're teasing them, and then they can kind of challenge you back by teasing you back. And that kind of tension you build, which is fun, is the flirting process. So you may do that just kind of naturally. For some people, they practice doing that. For some people, it's hard and it's not easy to do that. But for you, it seems like it's more of a natural process, and maybe your friends see that from the outside. Another thing, too, is that sometimes people call just talking to someone else flirting, right? Like your friends may see you just talking to someone else and go, oh, look, you're flirting because you're talking to her. So it's not always easy to tell based on your friends' recommendations. Okay, let's answer one more question in here. Actually, we'll do two more questions, guys. Drop your questions in the chat. And like I said, if you have stories or experiences that are tying back to the things I'm talking about, share them in the chat. The more we help each other, the more we learn and grow. Okay. Josh says, hey Josh, how's it going, Josh? There's a girl at my church who I see every Sunday. I really like her, but I want to get over her. It's not like I could just stop going to church. What do I do? I hear where you're coming from on that. Yeah. Okay. There's a girl that you like in your church, and, like, she's just there, and you want to try to focus on being in church and not on her. It's going to be tough. You can't ever wish away your crush, right? Like when things don't go the way that you want, you can't just kind of block them out, because life doesn't work like that. You're probably going to see them around. You're probably going to interact with them to some degree. I think the best thing for you to do is instead of worrying about not focusing on your crush, try to focus on something else or someone else. Instead of trying to block it, redirect. That's going to be the key here. So a redirect is because you're in church is maybe try to talk to other girls that you see in church. Try to make friends in church. Maybe volunteer in church. Maybe be someone who sings or someone that helps out, or be a part of the experience that allows you to get immersed in what's going on rather than sitting there and just thinking about your crush. That's going to be the challenge there. It's, I'm not saying it's going to be easy to kind of block them out, but you end up naturally blocking them out by focusing on other things. You can only focus on so many things at once. So just focus on other people and other things, doing other things, being an active part there. It's going to help you think less about her overall. Okay, let's answer a few more questions here, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this live stream so far. I think that these tips are crucial. These are important things to know, especially as someone just mentioned there, as we head into Valentine's Day season, right? Valentine's Day is a month away. So towards the end of January, I'm going to be talking about Valentine's Day because I want to get you guys prepared. Okay. Jalen Richardson says, how does your actions match an intention to date someone? I'm not sure I fully understand what you mean. Let me reread that. How does your actions match an intention to date someone? So I think that if you intend to date someone, right? So you want to date them. That's what you're driving yourself to do. How do you get your actions to match your desires? Maybe that's what you mean. Maybe I kind of said that a little differently. But if that is the case, you're trying to get your actions to match your desires. Like I said, everything I believe is small steps, right? For some of you guys, the idea of approaching your crush and talking to them might be terrifying. It might be hard. It's not always easy to just, oh, okay, Josh said just do this. Let me just go do that. It's not that simple. Sometimes it is scary. Sometimes you do get tongue twisted. Sometimes you do stutter over your words, or sometimes you do get sweaty and nervous. Sometimes you do feel insecure. These are normal feelings to have. You're not wrong or bad or worse than anyone else because you're having these feelings. But what I would recommend is this. If you want your intentions to match how you feel, your actions to match your intentions, what I would recommend is starting with small steps. The small steps I always recommend for everyone is this. If there's someone you want to talk to, someone you want to get to know, whether it's a friend, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a crush, whatever it is, start by making eye contact with that person, right? If you want to get comfortable talking to people in general, but let's focus on your crush here. Start by making eye contact with that person. Making eye contact with another person is going to establish that there's some level of interest in communicating something with them, right? Like you're looking around, when you look at them, they look back at you and you both know like, okay, there's something wanting to be communicated here. So eye contact is the first piece. Second piece is this. The second piece is smile, right? Making eye contact with someone and not saying anything or doing anything and just staring at them is going to be weird. It's going to freak them out a little bit because they're going to think like, okay, this person is trying to communicate something, but they're not showing off any cues. They're not doing anything that lets me feel at ease in that communication. So smiling is going to be a simple one, right? When people smile, our defenses go down a little bit. You know, like a, hey, how's it going type of smile, like a, hey, is going to allow them to feel like, okay, this person's coming at me with calm, kind, nice energy. Like that's the vibe that I'm getting from them. So eye contact, smile, and then the third piece is to say hello. Because just sitting there, staring and smiling is going to be weird. They're going to be a little weirded out because, like I said, okay, he's communicating niceness, but after a while, the niceness goes to creepiness because there's nothing else being said here. So in that moment, you may just want to say hello, say, hey, how's it going? And start with that. So eye contact, smile, and then say hello. Let those be the first 3 key steps that you take whenever you're talking to someone that you want to get to know better. If you can master those 3 steps, then it's going to be easier to lead into a conversation. So when it comes to matching your intentions with your actions, start with that and then follow the other 3 tips I've shared. And I'm going to share the 4th one here, guys, because I think it's super, super important. The 4th way to get over that shyness feeling whenever you're around your crush is to stop comparing your status of who you are to theirs. This is an important one, a huge, huge point, guys. You really, really need to kind of think about this for a second. We compare ourselves to others far too often. And when you like someone that you feel is popular or smart or super attractive or really cool or whatever it may be, when you feel like there's a difference somehow in your worth versus their worth, you're always going to kind of put yourself lower. You're going to feel like you're not good enough. You don't bring anything to the table. You're not worth talking to. And I totally want to tell you that that's not true at all. You know, if you like someone that's popular, let's say you have a crush on the popular guy at school, the popular girl at school. If your crush is someone that's super attractive and you just feel like, well, I'm pretty average looking, or even worse, I'm ugly. I'm a super ugly person. If you have those feelings, if that's what's running through your mind, you need to remember the simple truth, guys, that like at the end of the day, you're both people. You're both people with your own thoughts and feelings and experiences, and you both bring your honest selves to the table. You can't bring anything else. So just because your crush maybe has figured out how to make more friends, or just because your crush just won the genetic lottery and looks really attractive, doesn't mean that they're any more or less scared than you. Doesn't mean that they have it all figured out and you don't. Everyone is in the process of learning and growing. Some people maybe are just better at hiding it or pretending or acting like they have it all figured out. And that's what you tend to see a lot with popular kids. Popular kids always seem like they have it all figured out. They have the time of their lives. They're always hanging out. They always know what to say. They're always dating other popular kids. But the truth is that a lot of popular kids, and I've spoken to them, a lot of popular kids have reached out to me and left comments on my videos and sent me DMs. And they'll say like, yeah, I'm like really popular in my school, but I'm still really nervous around this girl that I like. Or like, oh, I feel like people don't like me for me. You know, so there are always different levels of challenges that you face. And if you feel shy because you feel like that person's out of your league or you're not good enough compared to them, you have to remember this, guys, that at the end of the day, we want to be surrounded by people that we feel understand us, people that we feel bring our energy up, and people that we feel we can learn something from. Like they're just a smart or cool or funny or awesome person to be around. And if you're only hinging, I have like a random hair on me or something. If you're only hinging your bet on your popularity or your status, it's a losing game because you don't determine your popularity or status. You don't determine that. Other people do. That's something you have no control over. What you do have control over is what you choose to pursue in life, what interests you, what you like, how you talk to someone, what you share with them, what you talk to them about. You have control over those things. And it's far more important. You'll be far more successful if you focus instead on developing yourself and who you are and the things that you like. Make that your number one priority. Tell yourself, you know what? I love recording Fortnite videos. I love doing Minecraft. I love skateboarding. I love reading. I love fitness. I love music. I love a million things. Pick the thing that you like and make that front and center your priority in life. Because if you're not doing that, if you are instead more focused on like, well, what do I have to do to kind of get this person to like me, to care about me, to value me, to pay attention to me, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're putting the ball in someone else's court to decide your worth. So I want to jump into a quick chat poll here, guys. I want to know what you guys have to say. Do you ever feel like you compare your status to your crushes? Do you ever feel like, and status here could be popularity, status here could be looks, status here could be a million different things. Do you ever feel like you're in that boat where you do that? I know I used to do that all the time. So look, I don't blame you if you do. I don't blame you if that's where you default to and where your mind ends up, because I've been there before. You're not alone in that experience. But I do think it's important to recognize that that's what's happening. You are comparing yourself to someone else. And when you catch yourself comparing yourself to someone else, when you realize, oh, wow, that's what I'm doing. Right now, I'm thinking that they're better than me because they're more popular, and that's why I can't talk to them or approach them. Recognize, you know what? All I can do is be myself. If they don't like me, then that's fine. Then I move on to the next person and talk to the next person who does like me, for me. All right, I asked you guys, do you ever feel like you compare yourself to your crush and, you know, your status to their status? Gavin says, just be the best you can be. Totally agree with you on that, Gavin. Koopa Troopa Poopa says yes. Ricky says no. Tamarcus, maybe it's Tamarcus, says yes. Chris says, maybe. DJ does challenges, says yes. David says yes. Kennedy says yes. Lego Man, yes. Yancey, yes. Sunbeam, yes. Gavin, definitely. Pineapple Power, yes. Atlanta Boy, yes. DJ says, I say I'm ugly and she's just beautiful. Yeah, DJ, and that's a common theme, right? We downplay our own worth. We feel like we're ugly, we're not good enough. And because of that, we shouldn't be able to talk to our crush. We shouldn't be able to pursue them. But it's not true. You're only setting yourself up for failure. You're creating your own roadblock. Because let's say you are ugly. Let's say you're just not an attractive guy, right? That doesn't mean that you can't still talk to them, that you could still make them laugh. You could still be an interesting person with interesting hobbies. You could still be fun and flirty. You could still make them feel cared for and listened to. Like, none of that has to do with your looks. So you bring way more to the table than just how you look. This is on the outside, and you can only change it and cover it up a little bit. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't have a deep inner core that really is tied to who you are and who you want to be, well, then guess what? Your crush is going to see right through that. They're going to see that inside is shallow, and they're going to judge you on the outside because there's nothing else deeper to really figure out an opinion about you on. Okay. Let's see what the rest of you guys are saying. Caden says, no, not really, because I'm pretty popular at school. Fair point, Caden. Let's see. Nija says, yes. DJ says, so yeah, trashes all the time. Sylvina says, I have a crush on you. I don't know if you mean me or if you mean the person you have a crush on. Corey says, not really. Jalen says, I don't know. So there's a mixed response there, guys. Let's go back to the main screen here, but I think that's going to be the key here. The key is ultimately to just really, really remember that, you know, your status and their status is not comparable, right? We're all at different places in our life at different stages. Some of us have opportunities that other people don't have. And it's important to recognize that that shouldn't be the end-all be-all factor in when it comes to talking to your crush. So you can curb that shyness. You can get past that shyness if you just allow yourself to just be who you are, because that's the most that you can offer. Okay, I want to answer a few more questions here, guys. Can someone put the Discord link in the chat? So I'm going to bring up the Discord here again, Ricky. The Discord link is right there. You can just head on over to the joshspeaks.com/Discord, join the server. I think you'll have a really awesome time in there. We have a great community, like I said before. Like I said, after this, I'm doing the Instagram after party. But I do want to answer a few more questions here before I kind of get to my final thoughts, and then we do our meditation bell session. And every live stream here with our meditation bell session. The big reason why I do that is simply because I feel like it's important to stop and pause and to really think about the things that we are experiencing and what we've learned, because watching a whole live stream on advice and just getting advice and then moving on to the next thing is not going to give you a moment to pause and reflect on it. And that's an important piece. I'm going to answer a few more questions here, guys. If you have questions, drop them in the chat right now. If you have a burning question or you want to just, send a tip or donation or anything like that, you can use the super chat function to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to answer a few more questions in here. Sinbeam says, I try to do this, but when I try, I immediately shrivel up and don't do it. Yeah, I hear you on that. If you find yourself kind of just holding yourself back, you freeze in place, stop for a second. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and then I would say follow the 3-second rule. And that means when you see someone you want to talk to, instead of giving yourself time to kind of get nervous and overthink it, just count from 3 down. Go 3, 2, 1, go, and start walking towards them. Even if you walk up to them and you just say hi and you just ask them how their day's going, that's a success. It's a success because you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, and that's something each of us should work on doing. Atlanta Boy says, almost banana time. Almost, guys, almost. All right. Lego Man says, my kind of girlfriend lives an hour away and I haven't met her in person yet and I like her very much. Yeah, Lego Man, long distance relationships can be tough. And the reason why they're tough is because there's so many other factors than just communication, right? Being in person with someone, experiencing someone with someone. Those are things that I think as you get older, you're going to have the opportunities if you guys stay together and you can meet in person. So if you really like her, you really like them, stick it out and see where it goes. Okay. Kanini says, got any advice on how to talk to my crush? By the way, I'm really shy and he is not a much. So maybe you're really shy and, wait, did I read this right? Where was that question? Oh, yeah, he is not a match. Maybe not a match. Maybe I messed that up a little bit. But if you're really shy and your crush is not kind of like giving you any feedback or not interacting with you as well, that's going to be another video. I'm going to do a video all about like what to do when you're approaching your crush and they're not like giving you in-person responses. I've done a few videos on how to deal with lack of text responses, like when they just give you one-word answers and stuff like that. But I'm going to do one on in-person interaction, when you try to talk to them and they're kind of just like not there present with you. I'm going to do a video on that. I'm going to answer one more question in here, guys. Let's see. Thanos says, in all seriousness, I go to an all-girls school and I have a crush on someone and I don't know what to do. Help or you get the snap. All right, Thanos, I don't want the snap. Okay, so you have a crush. You have a crush on someone, you don't know what to do. I'm assuming you have a crush on someone in your all-girls school. If that's the case, you just have to ask yourself, like, to what degree are you comfortable with approaching someone and talking to someone, right? If there's a girl that you like in your school and you want to get to know her better, start with that. Start with, I want to learn one interesting thing about her. If you tell yourself that and that's your first initial question, it's going to make it easier to start that conversation. So I'm going to kind of walk through my points here again, guys. I'm going to show them on screen one more time. So the things I talked about here, these are the 4 easy ways to stop being shy around your crush. Number 1 is to prepare what you want to say ahead of time. Remember, if you go in with something prepared, a conversation to talk about, a question you want to ask, a story you want to share, it's going to be way easier for you to kind of carry a conversation with them. You're not going to feel like you're going to freeze up as much. You're not going to feel like you're going to run out of things to say because you have something specific to talk about. Number 2, aim for short and simple conversations. Instead of focusing so much on, but every conversation has to be magical and special, just ask them 1 or 2 things. Your time is short. I'm sure you only have a little bit of time between classes to talk or at lunch or whatever it is. So aim for short and simple conversations. By giving yourself the freedom to not have to have a long conversation and telling yourself, I just want to talk to them for a minute or 2 and that's okay, you're going to take the pressure off of yourself. You're not going to feel the burden of every conversation having to always be amazing. Number 3, if you want to kind of break through the noise around your crush, but you feel like they're always around their friends and that's what's making you shy, get to know your crush's friends first. Like learning a little bit more about their friends is going to let your crush see that you're interested in their lives, that you're willing to take time to get to know the people that are important to your crush. Plus, your crush's friends are going to be on your side. If they see that you're a really cool person, they're going to talk you up to your crush, and that's a win-win in my book. And number 4, stop comparing your status to theirs. If you find yourself always saying, I'm not as smart as them, I'm not as attractive, I'm not as popular, I'm not as cool, I'm not as likable, any of these negative self-talk thoughts, if you find yourself in that boat, remember that everyone is at a different place in their lives. And ultimately, what your crush is really going to care about, like truly, honestly going to care about, is whether or not you're someone that they enjoy talking to, enjoy being around, enjoy learning from, enjoy laughing with, right? You can be the ugliest person in the world. You could be the most attractive person in the world. But if your crush doesn't feel a connection with you, doesn't matter what you look like, they're not going to want to be around you. So work on developing that connection. So it's important now for us to jump into our meditation time, guys. Let's get the bell rolling, get the ball rolling, but get the bell rolling. So I want you guys to each think about what we talked about in this live stream. Think about the points that we kind of reviewed, and think about your own self and your own situation, what you're going through, what you're experiencing, and what you can do to start to change that scenario. For some of you that are nervous around your crush or don't know what to say or still feel shy, try to really reflect on the points that we shared in this video and think about how you can take time for yourself to kind of make small steps forward so that you can kind of feel more comfortable in your own skin. This is the meditation bell, guys, here. What we're going to do is take 10 seconds of silence to just reflect on what we learned today, reflect on what we talked about. 10 seconds, guys. Once again, thank you guys so much for being a part of this live stream. I love talking to you guys and sharing this experience with you. I hope you guys really learned something from it. And what I want you to do now is check out the videos over there on the side. These videos are going to be helpful for you in terms of getting over your shyness and figuring out how you want to move forward so that you can be your best self. I know you have what it takes to be somebody great, guys. And shyness is definitely something you can work through. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this live stream. And on that note, I'll catch you next time. As always, love and peace. See you guys next time.